Crypto Bro Show is solely for entertainment purposes. Orlando Alzugaray and his guests are not financial advisors or investments consultants. If you ever plan to invest, make sure you do your homework, talk to a professional, and understand investing is very risky and volatile. Good luck in any of your investments, and only invest what you're willing to lose.
The Crypto Bro Show is brought to you by RM Contractors and Custom Drywall. From complete makeovers for homes or condos to impact windows and doors to drywall with level 5 finish. Call Ray or Mike at RM Contractors and Custom Drywall. 305-345-3649. You dream it, they'll build it. See their exceptional work on Instagram at RMC Fisher Island. Crypto Bros. Follow Big O for more crypto insight on X or Twitter at Big O Show.
All righty. Yes, sir. We start off. Let's check the Bitcoin chart. Obviously, in the Bitcoin price right now, currently, we are at 61,543. As you can see, we were all the way down to 60,158. And this was at 1 p.m. yesterday. So nearly 24 hours later, we are about $1,400 over that. Now, we've gone a little higher. We were at 61,836. So we were about 300 higher. But again, this comes off of the jobs report. And I think basically right now what you got was a positive report from the jobs because 254,000 jobs were added. They expected 147,000. So they added more than what they expected, which is pretty good. The rate now is at 4.1%. It was at 4.2%, the unemployment rate. Now, that's a great thing for the economy because obviously it proves that there's a lot of jobs. But for rate cuts, we were talking about maybe a half a point cut in November. Maybe not. Maybe they only go with a quarter point because usually the feds like to see the unemployment numbers go up, not down. And if they go down, that means the economy is stronger because there's a lot of jobs out there. And so it's great for the economy. It's going to give the markets a little bit of a boost. There's no doubt about it. But at the same time, it could be a little bit of a detriment if the feds want to slow down the rate at which they cut rates. So maybe they only go a quarter point in November instead of half a point. I'm not saying that that's a sure thing. I'm just saying there's a chance now. Okay? Because strong economies don't usually lead to that kind of stuff. It's usually they love to see volatility and bad in the economy, and then that's what's the indicator where it needs to get juiced. But right now, it doesn't look it. And by the way, since the media doesn't really report this kind of stuff, because they only ride on – remember when they had that jobs correction that it was 1 million less jobs, which is – the good thing is that they corrected it to the real number. But, they did that like 15 years ago. And you wonder, you wonder how they are, and it's not the government, it's I forgot the entity that does it now, but they actually now revised August, where it was 142,000 jobs. It's now 159,000 jobs. So in August, it was 142,000 new jobs. No, it was 159,000. So they adjusted it higher. Okay, so it goes both ways. You know what I'm saying? But the bottom line is it may affect rate cuts. Okay, I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's a sure thing, but it may, just may, affect rate cuts. I hope it doesn't. I hope it goes 0.5% because there's a lot of people paying credit cards, and every one of us would like to pay a little lower that monthly rate that you're paying. All right, this is some funny news. The IMF, the International Money Fund, has urged El Salvador to limit its scope of Bitcoin law. And it's funny because when you listen to the woman from the IMF in the press conference, she literally talks about like she wants to limit what they can do. And that's some communist crap. El Salvador is, their GDP has gone up. Tourism is through the roof for them. Companies are moving there. Let's see. Google, Nestle, Unilever, PriceSmart, TELUS, International, Industrial La Constancia. Must be a big company in Spanish. I don't know it, here. Turkey's YI port put in 1.6 billion to put into their ports. A new Bitcoin mining firm named Ocean has moved over, and many others. I'm not going to get into it, but I'm just giving you a list of some. Billions of dollars are being poured into El Salvador because the man straightened out the country. He got rid of all the crime. 90% of the crime is gone, like 98 or something. It's something stupid. The murder rate they went from the murder capital of the world to now like one of the safest places in the world. Okay. They're all getting more and more jobs because companies are moving in. And what Bukele does with them is he tells them, you've got to hire and train my people. Okay. I understand you got to bring some of your own because obviously it's a business that's established, but you've got to train our own. And so Salvadorians they're being trained in Bitcoin, all that. And IMF wants them to slow down. The IMF because the IMF is tied with money and tied with the banks internationally all over the world. The International Money Fund, they're like the governing body of banking internationally. Okay. And so they have like guns to everybody's head because you've got to get their approval to get money sometimes for your country. And if your country's desperate and needs it and all that, then that's what they want. They want you to be dependent. That's why these kind of stimulus checks and all that's all bullshit, dude. That stuff is not good. That's not how you want to raise an economy and how you want people to be living off handoffs, bro. You got to raise an economy that can sustain itself. And that's what El Salvador is doing. They're using their volcanic power to mine Bitcoin. Their credit rating has gone through the roof. I believe it's as high as ours, I think, as the U.S. And it was like 3-4 notches under us. And we went down a notch. And they've gone up a few. So, it just everything they're doing is, and so the IMF wants to stop them. And obviously Bukele's telling them to go screw themselves. And here's the best part. Let me see if I can. So IMF tells them to tone it down, right? So then what's Bukele's answer to all of it? Juan Carlos Reyes, president of the National Commission of Digital Assets, announced that the Central American country lawmakers have passed important amendments to the CNAD law. And according to these changes, there we go. It will grant authority to regulate Bitcoin companies in the country. Further, the CNAD will now be primarily regulatorily body overseeing the nation's Bitcoin industry. It will also implement a risk-based regulatory framework to position El Salvador as a global digital asset adoption and regulation leader. Our team will combine regulatory knowledge with practical Bitcoin experience, ensuring a balanced and effective approach. This is El Salvador. Okay? We're eating shit here, and this is El Salvador. Only Bitcoin can an individual ever self-custody their wallet, self-custody their wealth and property. Capital will never form upon chains designed for velocity rather than sovereignty. What IMF has recommended is narrowing the scope of Bitcoin law, strengthening the regulatory framework and oversight of Bitcoin ecosystem, and limiting the public sector exposure to Bitcoin, which is what Democrats have done. So he gave him a big FU, and way to go, Bukele, because your country's way better off than where it was, bro. That's all I know. Your people are way better off than where they were. So congratulations to you and everything that you're doing. Problem is that not enough people are educated in all the stuff that Bukele is doing to better that country. So They're headed in the right direction. That's all I'll tell you. All right. Now, the other thing that I love showing is the fear and greed chart. And it's funny because it's not at a great place right now, the fear and greed chart. I know there's a little bit of a pump, but right now it's at 41. And people see this and they watch this. And I got to tell you something. I laugh at this most of the time. Am I laughing at this when we're in the pandemic? No, of course not. Because there's a reason. Right now, I don't have a reason. I know the markets are going to pump because I'm watching all the countries around the world print money. They're all lowering rates. This is enormous for economies. This is enormous for investments and risk assets. I know all of this is coming. I see it. I talk about it every day with you guys. And now that we've created this segment within it, now I can, focus totally on it and kind of explain a little bit more thorough on what's going on and what's developing. And we can give you, the proof and all of that. So for me, usually the fear and greed index, I believe, is not led by true investors. I believe it's led by retail that are more FOMO folks, people that just, they flow with the wind. They listen to MSNBC and Fox and CNBC and ABC and all that kind of stuff, and they're just fed corporate crap that they got to give to you because it's all politicized to favor whatever relationships they have within their big conglomerates. Okay. Which I know most of you don't want to believe that kind of stuff, but that's what goes on. You know what I'm saying? So to me, the fear of greed index is not led by real investors. Real investors, I think it would be a lot higher and you'd be way more in the green because those of us that kind of understand what's going on these dips, we're taking advantage of them. We're not running away from them. We're not selling. Remember what I told you yesterday, right? Go watch the other episodes so you can piece them together and everything. But we told you yesterday about the short-term and the long-term investors and who's selling and what and how much and all that. And we explained to you that it was the short-term investors, right? So, if you want to, you can go back and listen to that one so you can piece it all together. But to me, those short-term investors are the idiots that part of the fear and greed index. That's how I feel. Anyway, what else do we have here? This is amazing. The CME Group. Okay, for those of you that don't know who the CME Group is, it's the world's biggest derivatives market. Okay, they're going to launch a physical Bitcoin product. Okay, this is enormous because it just continues to absolutely grow. And so listen to this. Okay. The world's leading and most diverse derivatives marketplace handles 3 billion in contracts annually, on average worth approximately 1 quadrillion. That's the CME Group. And remember, I kept telling you yesterday, the wirehouses and USB and Stanley Morgan and all these people, that once they start, and they're already now starting to open the door to get into Bitcoin, this is going to get crazy because they manage trillions. So once all these wirehouses get on board, it's over and the price is going to explode. And everything I've been talking about for nearly 5 years now, because in January will be 5 years that I've been in Bitcoin, late December. Like, remember, right after Christmas, I think I bought my first Bitcoin, almost 5 years ago. And this is, I would have never imagined that 5 years ago. This is just absolutely crazy. CME Group doing this. Not the CMB. Not the Cash Money Brothers. No, CME. 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 Am I my brother's keeper? Only yours truly, okay, gets a New Jack City reference inside a crypto segment, okay? Just want you to know that. Now, more information to educate you all. Rising geopolitical tensions and the coming U.S. elections are likely to reinforce what some investors call the debasement trade. I think somebody's been telling you that they print a lot of money and they devalue our money. I don't know. Somebody's been telling you about that. Anyway, thus favoring both gold and Bitcoin, says JP Morgan's Nicolas Panigrutskolu, whatever. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's obviously a very powerful and very rich man. So, debasement of currencies all over the world, people go into gold and Bitcoin. Just telling you. PayPal, by the way, has now completed its first PYUSD business transaction, paying Ernst & Young to showcase stablecoin use for seamless B2B payments. So this is huge because this is PayPal on the blockchain showing how you can move crypto one way or the other. And so now, whether it's Ernst & Young and many others are going to be able to be doing the same thing through PayPal and business transactions. Okay. Japan's MetaPlanet, they continue to follow MicroStrategy's plan. They earned 23.97 Bitcoin today, 1.46 million by selling out options. And now they have a total of 530 Bitcoin, 530.7, because I would love to have 0.7 myself, for 32.4 million. Okay. Can't leave out a 0.7 of a Bitcoin. That's a lot of Bitcoin right there, bro. I know 530 is awesome, but just give me 0.7. I'd be ecstatic. But anyway, so that shows you companies, countries, businesses, they're all moving in that direction. Where are you going? I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just asking. Grayscale has launched a Grayscale Aave Trust for accredited investors, providing exposure to Aave's governance token, leveraging smart contracts to optimize DeFi lending. And Aave is enormous in DeFi. So those of you that invest in Aave, this is absolutely enormous for you guys. Again, part of the I told you guys about 5 years ago, and I've repeated it over and over. What they're doing with the blockchain is they're constructing the financial world right under your nose. The future of the financial world and institutions will all be working on the blockchain. And I told you this 5 years ago, that banks would be shutting down and all that kind of stuff, and it's already happened. Obviously, many banks have shut down, and many more will shut down. We'll be down to like 5 or 6 banks. There's going to be a consolidation. Small and medium-sized banks are going to go by the wayside. It's just a matter of time. Banks will continue to fold, and it'll be, and get swallowed up by the bigger banks, and some will just die out. It's going to happen. But this is part of the whole process. And all these businesses will be on the blockchain. And one business will be on Cosmos, and another business will be on Bitcoin, and another business will be on Ethereum, and another business will be on Avalanche, and another business will be on XRP, and because they're all blockchains, they're all cities on the blockchain, and so they're all going to gravitate to something. Amazon's on Avalanche, I believe. Sony's on Ethereum. It's going there. You know what I mean? It's funny because I remember I don't get it nearly as much because people used to think that crypto was a game, or crypto was a joke, or crypto was, some kind of a scam or something. And they don't understand that the scams and all that kind of stuff go from the people, the investment firms, the exchanges. That has nothing to do with the crypto itself. It has nothing to do with the blockchain itself. And it certainly has nothing to do with Bitcoin. But that's the problem. There's a lack of understanding and education that they think everything's all the same, and it's not. That's like saying that investing is bad because of Enron. No, Enron was bad, not investing. Just got to have the right people to invest in. Just, have the right people manage your money. It's the same thing. But they don't explain it to you that way. And they leave you in the dark. So, BlackRock is in Brazil. Okay? BlackRock in Brazil making a presentation. This is their presentation. Take a close look at it. Bitcoin through the lens of global monetary alternative. They're in Brazil talking to their investors. Purchasing power of the US dollar has declined significantly over time. They show you 1913 at a dollar. Now, in 2023, it's 3 cents. Remember I told you yesterday, if you had $1 million a year ago, the purchasing power now is 660,000. You lost 340. Remember I told you that if you had one Bitcoin, if you had $1 million in Bitcoin a year ago, Bitcoin is up 120%, even with the dip of the last 6 months. Up still 120%, you would have 2.2 million right now. Kind of see what's going on? So this is what they're telling their investors. Bitcoin possesses similar characteristics to that of other global monetary alternatives. All right. And then it starts to show all the other stuff there, right? And you start reading market caps and everything going on, and it starts to show the potential of Bitcoin and how it could make up for what's going on in the debasement of currency all throughout the world. This is freaking BlackRock doing this. It's up to you. I mean, you're going to allow them to buy it all? You're going to allow them to keep it all? You're going to allow ARK Investments and Grayscale and Fidelity and all these people and all the rich people to buy up all the Bitcoin and send it to prices that none of us will ever be able to afford? You're still in the buying zone, in a sweet-ass buying zone. Not a financial advisor. Now, we've talked about, finally, this is kind of an interesting one. Right now, Bitcoin's at 61,724. So now it's climbed back up again. It's making a move back up to where it was at 61.8. We'll see what happens. But CryptoCon on Twitter put out a very interesting graphic. And I got to show it to you because it shows all the halving cycles. And back in the first halving cycle in 2012, right, 4 years in, on November 28th, right, it is? Right, November 28th. And he circles it here, okay? See where my cursor is right here, okay? He circles it right here, okay? And all of a sudden, after that date, we had just an absolute moonshot. There was obviously some movement up before it, but the real parabolic movement after November 28th. On the second cycle in 2016, he points out that again on November 28th, we had an up leading up to it, okay? And then the parabolic move. It's interesting. And then on the third cycle that we've had on November 28th, it was already going up, but then we had a double top. After that, it was going up, but here's the parabolic move. Now, November 28th is over here where he shows. This is the part where he thinks we are going to make the parabolic move. I got it. There's two ways of looking at this for me. This is the way I've looked at it, like I've looked at everything so far, and I will not stop looking at it. If he's right, and we don't move to 80,000, like a lot of people think we might be at by the end of this month, 75, 80,000 easily. If that's the case, that it's not till late November that the real parabolic, it gives you time to accumulate. It gives me time to accumulate. Okay? Remember, our target, us normal human beings, is to get to 20 to 25% of a Bitcoin. Okay? We're not rich people. Rich people, they can get a full and all that kind of stuff. But the rest of us, okay, working stiffs and all that, we can put $5 here, $10 aside, $50 a month, $100 a month, whatever. You got to get there. That's kind of your, because that's going to turn into serious money. But I got to say, this is an interesting cycle and an interesting graph that CryptoCon comes up with. Whether it turns out to be true or not, I don't know. But it's kind of interesting. There you go. All right. That is this edition of the Crypto Bro Show. And it's brought to you, of course, by the great people there at R&M Contractors and Custom Drywall. Call Ray or Mike, man. Give them a ring. Complete remodel, kitchen upgrades with appliances, waterproofing for your terrace, balcony, flood test report. That is so important nowadays. Impact windows, door installations. They do it all, man. Bathroom upgrades. They work in condos, homes, Dade, Broward, Palm Beach. They will get it done for you, folks. High-rise, custom homes. They can help you out either way. Call Ray or Mike right now. They will definitely help you out. 305-345-3649. That's 305-345-3649 for R&M Contractors and Custom Drywall, and tell them that Big O sent you.
The Crypto Bro Show is brought to you by RM Contractors and Custom Drywall. From complete makeovers for homes or condos to impact windows and doors to drywall with level 5 finish. Call Ray or Mike at RM Contractors and Custom Drywall. 305-345-3649. You dream it, they'll build it. See their exceptional work on Instagram at RMC Fisher Island. Crypto Bros. Follow Big O for more crypto insight on X or Twitter at Big O Show.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.